The top 5 stories from cheaters. Story 1. I was the mistress in a marriage. The guy was an old BF from high school, we dated off and on. When we were off he would date this girl Kelly, and when we broke up for the final time he went and married her. Almost a year after we broke up, I was back in town on summer break from college and ran into him at my summer job. He gave me this sob story about how Kelly wanted a divorce and was taking his kid from him. I, stupidly, believed him. We exchanged numbers, started talking daily. He invited me over to his apartment, showed me his divorce paperwork, and ultimately things got sour for a couple weeks. One day I swung by to pick up a pair of earrings I'd forgotten the day before. His best friend from high school answered the door. I asked if Guy was around. Best friend said no, why would he? Turned out Guy was actually house sitting for best friend, it wasn't his apartment. Best friend also informed me that Guy and Kelly were in the process of buying a house, their marriage was fine. I was livid and disgusted. I went to work the following day, and in walks Kelly. I ask her what she's doing later that night and if she's available to talk. We meet up after I get off and I lay it all out for her. She teared up a bit, but ultimately she was pissed. She gives me their address and tells me to show up there unannounced the next day. I do, and Guy is white as a sheet trying to get me to leave. Kelly shows up and they end up in a screaming match. So Guy ended up getting divorced and settled with a chunk of child support because Kelly informed the right people about Guy's pot plants. None of us talk anymore. When I think about it, I have to shower at least twice. Story 2. I've been married for 4 years and never considered anyone but my husband. I am totally devoted and in love. A year ago we both went out with some mutual friends. The night went on and he got tired but said I should stay since I never really go out. I was excited to be outside of my comfort zone and drank too much. I blacked out and woke up naked in a bed with an acquaintance who is infamous for partying and her spouse. When I woke up I had 20 missed calls from my husband and the girl's spouse was fondling me. I went home and told my husband, but it was hard because I couldn't remember more than a few seconds of what had happened the night before and a vague sense that it was all a nightmare. I felt like I didn't even know myself. I had never wanted anything like that to happen. I wasn't attracted to either of those people and I'm not a flirtatious person. I hate being touched and I consider my husband to be the best thing in my life. He was not angry with me but I felt I couldn't live with what I did. I tried to kill myself and we moved from New York back to our home state of Nevada. Things seem normal now but I still consider that night the worst of my life. Story 3. Was in a 5-year relationship with my girlfriend at the time. I started to talk to an old coworker from my teens that I always had a thing for, but she lived a couple states away so I knew nothing would come of it. Well, it turns out that she still had family in my area and regularly visited. We made plans to get some dinner and catch up, for old time's sake. It ended in both of us getting drunk, renting a hotel room and having some fun. This happened a few times over the next several months until I get a text from her. It's a picture of a sonogram of our child. I was going to come clean to my GF, because I never had a father growing up and I didn't want to put my child through that. However, she ended up losing it a month or so into the pregnancy and we stopped talking. It left me feeling very guilty and anxiety-stricken. 0 out of 10 would not do again. Story 4. Started with tutoring me in math back in high school while I had a serious girlfriend, for high school. I ended up living a double life where everything I did with my math tutor, I would end up doing with my girlfriend as well at a later point. It got so bad with the math tutor that I went on vacation with her and told my girlfriend I was going to see family. After I graduated I cut things off with both of them and through some sort of witchcraft after they found out about each other I was able to stay friends with both of them. Story 5. I was young, 19. I had been with a girl for a year when my parents decided I needed to pay rent, so I found a roommate and got an apartment. Day 1 I go to the office to turn in my walk-through paperwork. The girl in the office made my heart skip. She made me a believer in the idea of love at first sight. She moved in across from my apartment a couple weeks later and we started to hang out. One night we slept together. The next day I broke up with my girlfriend. Me and new girl talked and we both wanted to be together. She moved in with me a month later. That was 17 years ago. She's currently asleep upstairs next to our daughter. Please, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to notifications for new incredible stories from Reddit.